welcome to another Winter 2014 SWAT review. My name is Kate, otherwise known as Narataki.
And I'm Alan, otherwise known as Hisui.
We're from ReverseThieves.com. You can go there to get other SWAT reviews for the season, as well as our monthly Speakeasy podcast.
And this time we are looking at Buddy Complex from Sunrise, and it is streaming on Funimation and Hulu.
It's Sunrise's robot show for the season. It involves some time travel. It involves robots.
It involves going back to the future. Da, 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 da.
Actually, it does. That's all I could really say about it. I thought it was a nice setup. The time traveling stuff is a bit wonky already, but time travel, like, I don't know. I feel like for time traveling stuff, I usually just go along for the ride unless it's totally outlandish. I don't know.
I feel like time traveling is almost the closest sci-fi comes to magic. Because it's almost always soft sci-fi the minute you invoke time traveling. Because at least like a lot of other sci-fi concepts, there's like 90%, you can get up to like 90% based on science and then 10% on like fantastical. But like, time travel is never that. So
I feel as though I just accept it. Whatever the show said, whatever way the show says it works, I'm just like, fine, okay.
As long as they don't blatantly break their own rules.
Then I'm like, sure, whatever. And I like time travel stories, so that's fun. And in this one, we have Alba, and he's in high school, and he's, just like a normal, cool dude, whatever. And there is a mysterious transfer student, but they try to switch it up by her having transferred a while ago. So it wasn't as though we saw her transfer, but we were told. And she's been paying attention to him a lot, and everybody thinks that she's got a crush on him, but really, she's from the future, and she's keeping an eye on him because another guy in a robot comes through this portal, and he's trying to kill him. So most of the episode is kind of them trying to fend off this, and in some very nice, lovely action scenes. And what I did really like was Hina, the girl who has come from the future. She is a confident robot pilot who does her job in this episode, saves him, and saves the future, or whatever. Like, she totally does everything she needs to do. Like, I liked that.
I was a little worried when, after a bit of back and forth, like the first thing she kind of majorly does is lose her arm, but then it turns out to be a sacrifice play. So he's like, yeah, I got your arm. And she's like, yeah, I got your everything.
I know, right? I was kind of on the same, like, oh, right, here we go. And now Alba's going to have to jump in, and he doesn't even know how to pilot a robot and fix everything. But that doesn't happen.
Like, there was even a pause where you were like, all right, so she's going to be knocked to the ground, and then she's going to go, I'm a girl, I'm going to go to the side. Boy, please take over piloting the robot for me.
Even though the robot is pink. Of course, because I am a girl, and all robots that are piloted by girls must be pink.
Or look like Sailor Moon. In the case of G Gundam.
I'm just kidding. It's not always. I mean, Lala Soon doesn't pilot any pink robots. But,
she had to die for that.
Generally speaking, everybody knows. It's like, oh, well, it's a pink or feminine-looking robot. Whatever. Anyway, she's competent. I liked that. But I kind of don't know what the story is going to be because, we had sort of a little compact story here in the first episode that leads us to the future, but we don't really know what's going on in that future. And, like, we know who a couple of the players are. There's this guy, Dio. Hopefully not evil.
Oh, I thought Dio was the robot.
Oh, I thought Dio was the other guy.
Oh, I thought... he's not on the cast list. I think Dio's the robot.
Oh, okay. Well, there's some other dude who's super important. Sorry, I guess I was just confused. But there's another guy in the future who is clearly like there's battles going on. We don't know anything though. We see a whole bunch of people. We see some military, and that's sort of where the episode ends. So I enjoyed the first episode. I liked Alba. Like, he seems like a good dude.
He didn't super stand out, but he didn't have any real negative, like
that guy's gonna suck, or be whiny, or whatever. It was an enjoyable episode, but at the same time, I just don't know what to expect from the show or the characters yet. It was almost like it didn't give me much to go on, but...
I have 2 questions for you, because I'm not sure. The guy who super hates Alba's guts and basically traveled time
to try and
kill him. He seemed really shocked that Hina, of all people, was helping Alba.
Well, if the ending and opening sequences are any indication, first of all, I think you can figure out, at least I think I figured out, because we never see the face of the bad guy. We see his eyes. So I think we figured out which guy that was. Him and Hina were in the same military uniforms, where everybody else is wearing a different military uniform. So that's what I'm thinking, like, they're on, like, some sort of, like, opposing side.
Do you think that they had that in the future, or at least the original timeline that Hina came from, they had some kind of Romeo and...
Yes.
But I was thinking, do you think that the dude is her brother or some guy that was in love with her?
Oh, I don't know.
She's like, there was no clear... He obviously knew her, and he was obviously shocked that she was helping him, but beyond that, I was like, is this a brother-sister thing, or a
romantic thing? Yeah, I don't know. But I also, now that you're mentioning, though, the past, future, wherever, like, we don't know where he ended up. Like, is that the future that they were from, or this is a different future? I'm thinking it's a different future, because you know that whole thing about, like, timelines then make new timelines when you make changes and all that stuff. Also, because one of the things that was confusing was Hina said, oh, you told me that this would happen. Like, you told me this guy was going to come and kill you.
I wonder... But,
like, if he came and killed him, then he couldn't tell you.
I wonder if she basically goes through the singularity, and he basically pops into the future, but not the future where she entered. So let's say he pops in her timeline in 2099, right? So he's going to 2099, but she's going back to 2110.
Something. I mean, I don't think that was the last we're going to see of her, because I think it's going to be a major part of the story is their relationship and just who she is in relation to whatever else is going on in this crazy future place.
If she did come from, like, further than where he's popping out, I wonder if it's going to be a story of him redoing basically everything up to that point, basically time travel in media res, or will he have a chance to basically do things differently than he did that led to that point?
I would think so, or also it could be a completely alternate timeline. See, we're getting into the timeline, like, mechanics that we really super don't know. So let's just move on, because I don't know what else we can say about it. We must curtail this.
Okay, timeline. We need to know more about how time travel works before we can make time travel speculation.
But I think we're curious to find out. The opening was super Gundam seedy. The show feels a little bit... It doesn't feel 2014, I don't think. It feels 2005. I don't really mind but it feels a little bit like it's not... Doesn't feel as modern as some other shows.
It's not like it's like trying to be an 80s mecha show.
No.
But it does feel like a slightly older mecha show. Yeah, maybe like 5-10 years older than today.
And even just the character designs and yeah.
My second question.
Oh, there was more?
Yes. Since they have entered a world that seems totally at war, do you think that means this is the only time we'll be in school?
Oh, yes. I think so. I think it's all gonna be...
they're not gonna go to, like, some war school or, like...
I mean...
It could happen.
But it seems as though everybody was in military uniforms, so... It's taking place in the military.
And I didn't see anybody look like an instructor character or something. Yeah,
mostly commanders or captains, so hopefully we're staying out of school.
Because I was like, man, Kate, if this keeps up, that means we can stay out of school and Kate can be happy.
I would appreciate not being in school. Also, I am mildly disappointed because I thought because they were talking about the future. I was a little excited that I thought our robot pilots were going to be older. Like, oh, this is the past. So when they go back to, like, when we're in the future, that means they're like, you know, they're already 16 here, so maybe they're like 20. No, all right. They didn't go that far. That would just be crazy. We can't have older pilots. That would just, no, that doesn't work.
If we have lots of mecha war fighting and no school, that's
acceptable. I liked the first episode. It wasn't like hit it out of the park, but I want to know what's going on.
I mean, really, that's all you can ask for. So we will see you guys next